Hello everyone, welcome to the new edition on this particular channel. Are there your bet predict? In today's video, I'm going to put you guys through the process of how you can predict the ultimate under 3.5 goals betting strategy. Actually, this particular prediction is kind of different to other betting strategy because for you to go for this kind of strategy, you have to make your research on leagues that does not always score goals very well. Imagine you trying to predict under 3.5 goals in some German leagues, that is like you are dashing the bookmakers money. But now the first thing I'm going to introduce you all to is the leagues that you can predict your under 3.5 goals on. Actually, sometimes under 3.5 goals can be some kind of tricky stuff to do, but trust me guys, this particular strategy is actually suitable for some other leagues. Like the first league that I would like to recommend for you guys is the Egypt leagues, all the leagues under the Egypt, sometimes the Algeria league and also the Morocco league. But unfortunately in this video I'm unable to get the Morocco league because I don't think they are having any match soon. But now I have the Algeria league and the Egypt league, but most of my examples we base on the Egypt league for now. Now let us try and check what we are having in their stats, because in whatever you want to do concerning prediction, you need to check their previous meeting, check how they've been performing in their last previous games. Now this is what we are going to check. We are going to check the data for their head to head and their head to head new. Now let's check some of the games here that we are having. So I'm going to check the game between the match between Ismaili and Z. So this is a particular match under the Egypt Premier League. Now let us go to their stats, because the stats is where we are going to have all the data concerning this particular previous meeting, concerning the previous meeting of this particular match. Now the first aspect that you guys are going to see here is their last 5 games with other teams. For now, when it comes to predicting over and under, your most concern is not really about their form or their league position. That one is necessary when you want to predict probably maybe straight winning or double chance, but we are not considering that factors for now. So the only aspect that you need to look into is the last previous meeting with other teams. And if you check very well and we look closely, you are going to realize that out of the last 5 games, seeing over 3.5 or over 4.5 is not that very common. It's not really common in their games. And checking the away team also, most of their games always ended up in sometimes 1-0, 0-0, 2-1. The worst part of it, or the worst results that you can see there, like let me say the highest result that you can see there is maybe they played 2-2. Playing 3-2 is not really that very common in Egypt league, so it give us the insights and the probability of how of the high chance that we can have in winning this particular under 3.5 goals. So that's why I'm currently, and I'm trying to introduce you guys to the Egypt League first for predicting your under 3.5 goals. Now the second aspect for you guys to look into is the last 5 games. If you look at it very well, most of their games ended up in under 2.5, even under 1.5 goals, except this particular one that ended up in under 4.5 goals. Now it shows that there is high probability of this game even coming out as under 2.5. As you guys are saying on the start, there is high probability of the game coming out as under 2.5, but you don't conclude on that yet, because you are only having surface, or let me say a mere view of their the probability of the outcome of the game. Now let us check the head to head new. Under this head to head new, the bookmakers always provide the average total points, you know the average total points that these teams have been you know getting since their last previous meetings with each other, with other teams, and they do some calculation and to get it. But if you know how to get your average points, you can do your own calculation on your own. Actually sometimes I do mine on my own, but if you want to use the bookmaker's own, it's fine then. But sometimes there can be error in situation like that, like technical error, but let us make use of that. Now if you check the head to head new, this is it. So checking the head-to-head new, you are going to see some data, probability of who to win, probability if the game will end up in draw, and the total win that the home has, the total win that the away had, and you check the goal scored, the average goal scored, which is 2.12, and here is the percentage of probability of playing both teams to score. And the only place that we are only concerned about is the aspect of the percentage of over 1.5 and over 2.5. If you check all this data very well, these are the head-to-head average of the head-to-head of the team average. So these are data that we need to consider, but the most important that we are concerned about in this video is the over 1.5 percentage and the over 2.5 percentage. Now, the aspects of over 2.5 percentage, if you notice very well, they are telling us here that the probability of playing over 2.5 is 38%, and that is not even 50%. When something is 50%, you can have it as, okay, there's probability that it comes this way, there's probability that it comes this way. But in this situation, we're having 38%, so it's not really that very sure that the game can end up in over 2.5. Now, if you want to get the probability that, okay, this particular match will end up in maybe under 3.5, what you just need to do is to make use of the inverting style of calculating the percentage. Don't forget, here we are having 38% for predicting over 2.5, and out of 100%, if you are subtracting 38 from it, surely you are going to be getting 62. Now, having 62, that 62 means that is the percentage of this game coming out as under 2.5. So we are having 62% of the probability that this game can end up in under 2.5 goals. Now, this is a good insight for us to go for under 3.5, because when going for under 3.5, we'll be having something around maybe probably 80% probability chance of the game coming out as under 3.5 goals. And checking on their last previous game, structurally, you guys are going to realize that most of their games always ended up in under 2.5, under 3.5. And checking their last previous meeting with each other too, you realize that their games always ended up in under 3.5. So these are the basic consideration that you need to look into before going for your under 3.5 goals. Now, the last aspect of the game is checking if the bookmakers are providing the market for this particular game as under 3.5 goals, because most times, you know bookmakers today are like industry that are working towards profits, and you don't expect them to be dashing money out like that. So now let's just check the markets, and let's see if the bookmakers are providing under 3.5 goals. Okay, fortunately, we are having the total odd for the under 3.5 goals as 1.18 odd, very small, but that is just about the league. So let's just check the next game and let's see if the same thing applies. And I would like to show you guys games that you need to always avoid, based on percentage and based on structure. Now let's just check this particular game under the same league, which is Egypt Premier League, and let's see if we have a good start to predict our under 3.5 goals on. Okay, now for example, checking this particular game, if you look at it very well, most of their games, or let me say some of their games, always ended up in over 1.5. For example, I think 80% of the last 5 games that the home team actually played, the game ended up in over 1.5 goals, except this particular match they played with one of the teams that we just analyzed earlier. Their game ended up in 0-1, but the rest are over 1.5 goals. So this particular form, or let me say this particular structure of the data for the home team is actually not I'm not supporting you going for the over 1.5, because it is already the under 3.5, because it is already discouraging and giving me the vibes that this particular match can end up in over 1.5. Now let us check the last 5 games of the away team. Same things occurs to the away team, because in the last 5 games they had 80% of their game ending up as over 1.5, and the last one was just 0-1. Now let us look at their last previous meeting. Unfortunately, they don't have enough data for their previous meeting, and this also is one of the things that you need to always consider before going for predicting over or under. You have to make sure that this particular team that you are predicting your games on, they've been playing, or they've been having at least 4 games in their previous games of last, or they had 5 games played in their last previous meeting. So those are the things that you need to consider. Now let us check that head to head, like the head to head, whereby we are going to be having the percentage of the average total points that they've had. Now checking the percentage of the average total points, if you can see very well, you will realize that the percentage of the probability that the game will end up in over 1.5 is 82%. Wow. And checking on their over 2.5 goals, you can see that this is 52. So it's using the inverting style of subtraction, getting the average percentage of under. You realize that predicting the probability that the game will end up in under 2.5 is 48%, even not 50%. And imagine you getting the percentage of predicting the game as under 3.5. So probably if the game will come out as under 3.5 goal, the probability of the percentage would be around maybe like 30% or 30 something percent. So I want to advise you guys to always go for games like this when you are having a start that is not really giving you the vibes or go ahead for under 3.5 goals. Please always avoid it, and don't say because you don't have enough games, you don't have the games that you picked did not meet your required odd. Please always avoid those games. It's better to avoid games than to lose your money. Now let us check another something. Let us check another games and let's give it a day. And so let us check this particular game and their stats. So this will be the final example, and I want you guys to pay a very good close attention to everything we are doing. I've already shown you guys the games that you can always avoid if they don't meet the requirements or the stats. The games we just analyzed earlier, if you check it very well, I told you guys in the last 5 games with other teams, they had 80% of over 1.5, both for home team and the away team. Even in the last game they played with each other, they only played with just one game with each other, and the game ended up in 2-0. That is another over 1.5. But unfortunately, when you are not having enough data for the last previous games of the team that you want to predict your games on, please always avoid the games because they don't have in-depth or enough data to consider for the probability of their outcome. Now checking the games of this particular new team that we are checking under the same league of Egypt, you can see that in their last 5 games they only had under 4.5 in just one game. The rest of the games mostly ended up in 0-0, 1-1, 0-1, and so on. And checking the last 5 games of the away team, you can see that the highest figures that they had is under 4.5 again, which is 2-2, and this will give you an insight of most of their outcome of this particular league games are 0-0, 0-1, 1-1, 1-0, something like that. Now let us check the last 5 games of this particular team. Checking the last 5 games, as you can see here, most of the games, the highest number of total goals outcome was 2-1. The rest are 0-0, 0-1, and 1-1. Now even predicting correct score in this particular league, sometimes I will always like to I will always prefer going for 0-1, 1-0 correct score most times. But we are not concerned about correct score in this video, but just use that as an example. Now let us check their head to head new and let's confirm if we are good to go with predicting this particular game as under 3.5 goals. Okay, fine. Checking their average, the head-to-head average team goal scored. You can see that the probability of playing over 1.5 goal in this particular match is 50%. So if the match is going to end up in a 1-1 or 2-0, it is 50-50. It may be and it may not. That's it. Now checking on their over 2.5 goals, this is very small, so it is 32%. Very The chance of playing maybe 2-1 is very small in this particular game, even the chance of playing 2-1. So this will give us an insight that okay, the probability of playing under 3.5 goals should be around maybe like 80%. Like the probability of the game ending up as under 3.5 be around 80%. So in short, let me just give you small tips about how you can quickly consider instead of stressing yourself by subtracting percentage and maybe trying to get the percentage of under 3.5. Just consider it that for predicting your game as under 3.5 goals. Whenever you look at their last 5 games for the home team, the last 5 games for the away team, and the last 5 games that they've had with each other, and coming, if you realize that in those all the three data that I mentioned now, you realize that the most of their outcomes always when they most times ended up in under 3.5 goals. Then you come to the SUNU, checking the percentage of the over 2.5 goals and making sure that the percentage of predict of the over 2.5 goals outcome does not exceed 30 something percent, does not exceed what, 30 something percent. So that's just the secret. So let us check the final aspect of this particular prediction, which is checking if the bookmakers are going to provide the market for the under 3.5 goals. Let's see. So fortunately we have it here as 1.16 odd. 1.16 odd. Predicting under 3.5 goals odd is very small when it comes to Egypt League and some other leagues like Morocco and Algeria. Most times the bookmakers may not even provide the market for the under 3.5 goals. They are going to only leave the under 2.5 goals alone. So guys, thanks for watching and see you guys in the next video. Please, if you are just joining us, don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell button so that when we drop another video you are going to get a notification of that, because I'm still dropping some strategies and I'm still working on strategies. I would like to show you guys something before I end this video. Under the basketball league, I would like to show you guys something, like, basketball. The only problem that we always have with basketball is their inconsistency. Please, so guys, hold on, let me quickly show you something. So I told you guys that one thing about basketball is that basketball, the lack consistency, I told you guys. So, and that is one of the reasons that sometimes when you see that, okay, you were using a particular strategy and unfortunately boom, the strategy is no more working for a while. Please, what you just need there is just to take a break. Just what, take a break, because most times these sports, and anything can happen in sports. Anything happens, things change, things can turn around anyhow in sports. So that always affects the outcome of betting sometimes. So one thing I want you guys to notice is that the only thing that I do when it comes to basketball and their inconsistency is that I always make further research. And trust me guys, most times with basketball, getting big odds will be very easy. Getting big odds will be very easy. And for example, checking this particular game of under the NBA league, getting 1.74 odd is not actually something very hard for some people, but it is actually something that is very common in basketball, and that's just it. And checking other games here too, you can see the ranges of odd that you can accumulate in basketball, and the game is still currently going on. But one thing about basketball is that the inconsistency is the only thing that can affect the outcome of your game. So in case you guys like our content of the video, and please make sure you share to others that may be having interest, and if you want to join our Telegram group, it is always available. And also, if you think you like our video, please click on the like button so that we will know. So thanks for watching, see you guys in the next video. Bye.